Hey guys, it's Ravi. I'm here to bring you the first of a new series, which is how to play piano, the basics to it, and today we'll be learning about the chords. If you don't already know what a chord is, it's generally played on the left hand, and it is a series of notes that are basically the background to a song. Generally speaking, most songs have 4 chords that run throughout them. In other places, you may have heard the word chord on, say, a guitar, and it's just a universal thing for all instruments. On the piano, there's a few things that like structure up a chord, and I'll be showing you all of them today. So I'm going to be teaching by example. So let's say we want to learn what the D chord is. We'll find D on the piano, if anybody knows it. Anyone? D, or D, or D. Those are all Ds. So a single note D would be that. It's not a chord yet, it's just a D. To make it the beginning, or what we call the foundation of the chord, we make it what's called an octave, which is a D plus another D, which is either below or above it, an octave up or below. So a D octave would be that, or that. What would a C octave be? That. Or say a G octave. These are called octaves. They're the foundations of chords. Moving on, the second thing that you need to do to an octave to make it a chord is add the fifth to it. Now what do I mean by fifth? From the first D to the next D, there are a total of 7 keys, including the starting one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the 8th is the next note, or the first in the next series of 7, if that makes any sense. So the fifth of a chord is taking the octave, so DD, and adding the 5th note from the beginning, including the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 5th of the chord is an A. So a D chord would consist of D, A, D, the octave Ds, plus the 5th of the chord. And that's a D chord. Now let's try it with a different one. Octave Gs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, D, G, D, G. That's a G chord. Let's try it one more time, one more example. Let's say E's. That's a bad example. Let's try C's. C octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, G, C. Now for this this fifth thing, there is one exception. For the B octaves, the 5th of the chord is actually an F sharp. So for B octaves, the 5th of the chord is an F sharp. And that's just a quick tip. Moving on, to make the chord what it is, and it's the way I play it, I add the third to the chord. Now third, think about what I said earlier, it's basically the third note. So let's go back to our first example. D octaves, add the 5th of the chord, and then what's the third of the chord? 1, 2, 3, F. So octave Ds, add the 5th, and add the 3rd. And this is what makes a full D chord with 4 keys pushed down. Sounds a lot better, doesn't it? You've probably heard the terms major and minor when it comes to chords, and this all has to do with the third of a chord. So our third of the chord right now is an F, right? Now I don't know how really big piano people do it, but what I consider a major chord to be is something that sounds happy. I know it seems like the music is more uplifting, or the chord itself is more uplifting, as opposed to a minor chord which sounds more sullen and more gloomy. So this is a D minor, I would assume, because of this F, which makes it a little bit, sad. Now to make it a major chord, you kind of like have to shuffle around the third and find the right one, which is what I do. I'm sure there's procedure to it, but for a beginner piano player, you just want to shuffle around and find the right one. F sharp is what I presume to be the major. You see it? Do you hear it? So listen to the minor. Now listen to the major. Hear the difference? Let's try it with a different one. G octaves. Add the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add the third. Now that's a G major. You see how it sounds more happy and uplifting? Now shuffle around. I presumed that the minor chord would be a B flat. So change the third of the chord to a B flat, and it should become a G minor. Yeah, so my battery actually died right there on my camera, so I had to go replace it. Continuing from where we left off, we were discussing the G chord and turning it from a major into a minor. Just by moving the third of the chord, you can change a chord consisting of 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, from major to minor. All but the third. Okay, so let's review what we've learned. We've learned that chords are the backgrounds of songs. They're played generally with the left hand and appear on music as the bass clef. Chords are based on, or their foundations are octaves, such as D and D. In order to form the fifth of the chord, you have to add the fifth note up from the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, D, A, D. So that is a regular chord with the fifth, and to make it a 4-note chord, you'd have to add the third. So the third would be the F. To change from major to minor, you'd have to shuffle around the third of the chord, and major sounds more uplifting as opposed to the minor, which sounds more sullen and gloomy, which is a major, and which is a minor. Alright, thank you for viewing. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment. I love to hear what feedback you guys have. And please subscribe to stay up to date with whatever piano videos I have. Thank you.